we go on Friday. What's up, Joshy? Back here in the control. You want to say anything to the MIA?
What's up?
Away we go on a Friday edition. Mr. Relevant. Alex Strouf, Joshy DiMaggio, Will Summers with you. Lots to get into after some breaking news from Minnesota. They have fired their general manager, Kwesi Adofo-Mensah. Some staff changes yet again this week for the Green Bay Packers as quarterback coach Sean Mannion heads to Philadelphia as their new offensive coordinator, and a whole lot more to get into on this fine Friday edition. We will also, of course, update you on the latest in the Giannis saga. Weird setup today. So, Will, you're leaving us at some point?
Yeah, I accidentally became too important at work.
Accidentally, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right, hold on. We can't see Josh. You guys talk.
What a throw. What a toss.
You guys talk.
Well, I want to make everybody look good. Talk.
What do you want us to talk about? What do you want to talk about, Will? What are you hot on?
I like that we just did like musical chairs. Like none of us are sitting in our
No
usual
one is
spot.
where they should be. We got cats living with dogs.
All right, I think I fixed it.
Inmates running the show.
You've had a very hard time figuring that out.
Yeah, it took me a minute. Well, I'm usually not used to driving the show while producing the show, so this is unique for me, but I'm enjoying it. All right, Mr. Relevant with you, ESPN Milwaukee, ESPN Madison on YouTube, and, of course, wherever you get your podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and the ESPN Wisconsin app. So I want to start with the Kwesi Adofo-Mensah news, Joshy, because I think it's interesting. Am I slaughtering his name?
No, I just didn't expect you to start there.
Well, it's not so much the...
Oh, I know where you're going.
Yeah, it's not so much why did the
gotcha.
Vikings do this? Why did they do it now? The timing is certainly suspicious, but it seems like it's just been expected for weeks, and it took them a long time to get there. But it's an uncomfortable decision after a year out of the playoffs. It's an uncomfortable decision after an underwhelming season. By no means am I sitting here and advocating for the firing of Brian Gutekunst because it was another first-round exit. That's not what I'm doing. But why do the uncomfortable decisions seem easier for other teams than Green Bay is where I want to start the show. And we'll get to some of the other decisions that I think Green Bay should make, including the Adam Stenavich decision at some point. And, the longer this drags on, the more it's evident he'll be back as the offensive coordinator. But I just, uncomfortable decisions seem easier for other franchises. And I'm sure you could give me the stability argument, Joshy, right? Like the Packers are stable. They're always in it. They're always competitive. They're always in the mix. But it feels to me like sometimes they just don't make the hard decision until they have to make the hard decision and like really have to make the hard decision. Yeah. And that's why this news in division, the Vikings pull the trigger on January 30th, weeks after their season ends. It's a weird one. But it's their organization signaling, hey, it hasn't been good enough. We've got to make a change. What do you make of the move, and why does it seem like other teams are better at having the uncomfortable discussions that the Packers are not?
I think it's most to do with the fact that they drafted a young quarterback pretty high up in the draft, and he sucks. And he was the main driving force behind acquiring him, behind him being on the team. That is their GM. And I think the rumors about there being a disconnect between the coaching staff and the front office are the reason we end up where we are now. Because I think we can all say in this room all together, Kevin O'Connell is very good at his job. Kevin O'Connell is on the short list, I think similar to LaFleur. Some might even prefer O'Connell to LaFleur. On the short list of people who, if they became available, a lot of teams would probably make moves to fire their coach if they thought they had a legitimate chance of landing someone like O'Connell. So the organization and the team, they picked the coach, and they said, this is how we're going to build our franchise. I do think this is very interesting for for JJ McCarthy, just on like a football sense. Like, this kind of feels like they're directly refuting that. Like, we don't want any piece of this guy.
I think this can be the first victim Nine's going to take. Nine's going to lose some people with their jobs.
Yeah, I mean, it starts with him, and it could go to O'Connell depending on what ends up happening in the draft. But, I mean, the Packers are what the Packers are. They've always operated this way. They've been always slow to act. Firing Mike McCarthy in season was like a shock to the system, and many people couldn't believe it happened. I remember before it happened, the amount of people saying he's not getting, like the night he got fired, everyone was saying there's no chance, this isn't happening. Mike McCarthy wouldn't fire, the Packers don't do that, and they went ahead and did it.
Yeah.
And the Packers...
But has there been a tough decision made sense? Right? Like Maurice Drayton was obvious.
Yeah, no, there probably hasn't
Barry
been.
was obvious for, what, a year and a half before they made that decision?
Yeah, the Packers are always going to be slow to move. And some people consider that an advantage. Some people can consider that a disadvantage. They aren't caught in upheaval often, which I think is a net good. They aren't ever lost and sort of stuck. I just watched Will repeat upheaval and then go into his computer to type it in.
And then misspell it.
But for the Packers, they're not going to do that. And let's be straight here. Matt LaFleur has a hard time firing people. He just doesn't like to do it.
Absolutely.
And that's probably a flaw. If we were to actually determine it, he has a personality flaw. Sean Mannion walked. Now, I don't know if they could have protected him or forced him to stay there if they really wanted to and fired Steno and sort of made that move. But he wouldn't have been calling plays, so isn't it better for him to get the opportunity to call plays, especially where he is in his young tenure? Matt LaFleur got a big fat contract extension. It's Matt LaFleur's world. He makes those decisions. He's making the coaching decisions. It seems like he's probably having some decisions too, or has input on what's happening on the defense, because Gannon is hiring guys he has no affiliation with, along with guys he also does. But some guys are just coming out of left field that have really no relation to him whatsoever.
Which isn't a bad thing, in my opinion. But
no, I absolutely don't think so either. It's just interesting because, as we know, coaches hire guys they know. That's just sort of how they do everything.
Did Sam Darnold ruin Kwesi Adofo-Mensah's career?
I think so, yes. I do think him ending up in a Super Bowl made it even more obvious he needed to be fired. I do think also look to his own players. Jonathan Greenard put out the old ellipses tweet after Sam Darnold, moments after Sam Darnold secured a Super Bowl berth.
Yeah.
And to be fair, I do think the Seahawks roster is better.
Will, what's an ellipses tweet?
A cryptic tweet.
Well, yes, but that's not what it is.
Yes.
An ellipses, Will. What is an ellipses?
It's
Come on,
like an English mark, like a slash or a dash. It's one of those, right?
I mean, it is a. It does involve
mark.
It does involve. It does involve punctuation. There is punctuation involved.
You said an English mark.
Is the period not a English mark?
Isn't that universal? Isn't the period universal? Isn't it in every language?
It's a literature mark.
A punctuation mark.
Punctuation mark.
Yeah, literature mark.
Literature mark.
He tried to fancy it up.
Punctuation was the word I was looking for, damn it.
He tried to fancy it up there to make it sound more legitimate, and he got caught.
Will, did Sam Darnold ruin Kwesi Adofo-Mensah's career?
I think there's also some credence to he let two successful quarterbacks in the league walk for 9 this season. Sam Darnold and Daniel Jones. Like, you forget Daniel Jones.
They had
the opportunity to re-sign him, and I think I read this earlier. Only one of his 10 picks in his first draft became a full-time starter.
Yeah,
so,
he's been bad.
I think this also gives some credence to Kevin O'Connell. Like the fact
credence.
The fact that he went over 500
Credence Clearwater Revival.
Credence Clearwater. Have you ever seen the rain?
Yeah, nice.
CCO. Hit the hotkey.
Keep up the good work.
Will. Yeah. So I think this kind of pulls the blinds back a little bit on the Vikings organization and how good Kevin O'Connell is, and truly how bad the GM has been.
I totally agree. All right, let's move to this news because, Josh, I'm excited to get your thoughts on this. We have not talked about this since it happened, and that's the Sean Mannion news. I like when I set up a topic and you don't know where I'm going and you give me quite a stare. Sean Mannion, hired by the Eagles as their new offensive coordinator after only 2 years in Green Bay, one as their quarterbacks coach, and it gives me credence.
Clearwater Revival. Will.
Gives me credence.
Keep up the good work.
Will.
On my doubts of Adam Stenavich as the Packers offensive coordinator. The fact that a guy who was an active quarterback 2 seasons ago in the National Football League is now an offensive coordinator in Philadelphia.
Yeah.
And again, this is no knock on Mannion and maybe the hire that LaFleur made by pairing him with Tom Clements 2 seasons ago and giving him the keys to the quarterback coach vehicle this season. But what does that tell you about Adam Stenavich?
I mean,
this is a guy that's been an offensive coordinator, non-play caller for several seasons, has interviewed for several seasons for play calling jobs, and hasn't landed one. And Philadelphia wasn't even interested. Now, again, this could propel him to a head coach or maybe get him fired in 2 years because that just happens to Eagles OCs. But I'm just intrigued by the Mannion rise and the Stenavich plateau, if you will.
I'm going to say something you probably aren't going to enjoy. I don't think the Sean Mannion hiring for offensive coordinator with the Eagles says much about Adam Stenavich.
Why?
I think if the Packers viewed Sean Mannion as a guy that should be the offensive coordinator, they would have made him that. I think he certainly has an opportunity to be great, but also the last OC they had his house egged. The two before that became head coaches.
That was Jose.
They also
forgot about
They
that.
also put his face on a golf simulator, and people were just hitting golf balls into his face.
So I don't think it says a whole lot. I don't think Sean Mannion getting this opportunity and getting hired precludes the Packers from also firing Adam Stenavich and going in a different direction.
Yeah.
I do think as the time, each day he remains the coordinator, it makes it more likely he's going to be the coordinator in 2026. But also as part of that, I do think with Matt LaFleur's extension, with no demands being put on him, if he thinks he's the right guy and he's helpful and doing what he needs to, maybe they make changes elsewhere in the margins. And they make changes to the offensive line coach. They now have to hire a quarterbacks coach, which might be Luke Getsy. I don't know if there's a whole lot I can take from this, because if Matt LaFleur really wanted to, he could make sure Mannion stayed there. And I don't think Mannion would be all that upset about it. Hey, it's not a play calling job. But guess what? You're an offensive coordinator in the NFL. You've barely been doing this.
Sure. I guess I don't necessarily disagree with that. I'm just, and maybe it's because I want fresh ideas. And as we've talked about, it feels like for 4 weeks now. Alongside
you want another fired coach for that role?
For QB coach? Well, I think we're going to get
for
one.
OC.
Depends on the options. I wouldn't be against it.
Just like having an ex-head coach in there.
I do. I like the leadership. Yeah, a lot of ex-defensive coordinators on the Packers defense.
I don't think Matt LaFleur wants any leadership behind him in the offensive room.
Yeah, you've made this case before. I guess I don't know that I necessarily disagree with you, just given the examples. But Hackett is an example of that.
The two people who have been real challenges to his authority, Mike Pettin, he fired. And then the other one got hired away after just 2 seasons.
And Jeff Hafley, right?
Yeah, and aside
what
from
about
that...
Hackett?
Come on.
You know Aaron Rodgers loved that guy.
Yeah, but do you think Hackett was moving? Do you think anybody in Green Bay thought, wow, this guy's a real leader? Or was he just buddies with Aaron Rodgers? His body of work post-Packers would tell me he was just buddies with Aaron Rodgers.
Well, now he's buddies with Jeff Hafley as he becomes the quarterback's coach, ironically, in Miami.
Good luck to them.
Night. Yeah, good luck to them indeed.
It's interesting they're hiring the bad coaches.
Well, not all of them.
They're doing the diluted version. I mean, they took the linebackers coach. That guy stunk. He's bad. Linebackers were terrible.
Ryan Downer was the defensive backs coach.
Yeah. He was, as far as I know, fine.
What about the ball king? How'd that work out?
Yeah, I was going to say, they were towards the bottom of the league at being the ball kings, so not good.
No, not good.
You can't give a guy a nickname before it actually happens.
Do you have nicknames? You have nicknames, right?
Big Cat.
So that was before Barstool Big Cat?
Well before. That was when I was about 12 years old.
How did you get the nickname Big Cat?
I played first base, was quite a good defensive first baseman. I was like Andres Galarraga, whose nickname was also Big Cat. My baseball coach gave it to me.
You got the nickname Big Cat because of Andres Galarraga?
Galarraga.
I don't know his name.
Will, do you know it?
I've heard of him.
What's his
He
name?
might have been a little bit before my time.
Andres Galarraga.
Galarraga, what did I say?
Bellaraga.
Beluga.
We've got some cleanup to do. People think Will is leaving the show forever.
Yeah,
I just
hope
have
so.
a meeting today. I'm not leaving.
Where he's getting kicked off.
So what's going on with you today?
I just have to speak on a meeting about mentorship because I've been mentored by so many great people here.
Why aren't me and Josh invited?
Because you guys aren't the good mentors that I've been leaning on. Maybe Josh should be.
Oh my goodness, where's Dan the Man? You know how many messages we would get from Dan the Man saying how great of mentors we are?
I think he sends them to Josh and then he copies and pastes them to you too because he feels bad. My dad also got real bad.
Oh,
about,
no.
Bill Belichick and Jordan Hudson breaking up.
I did
he
see this,
tagged me in
yeah.
it, and then you click on the account, and it's just all fake news. Like it's Marcus Freeman hired by the Cardinals. He got.
He probably just wants to will that into existence.
Yeah, I think
She
so.
only dates first ballot Hall of Famers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How much credit do I get for?
I don't like where this is headed at all.
How much credit do I get for Will's nomination for company awards
It was the same award you got nominated for, right?
last year?
Oh, last year, the unsung hero one.
Yeah, I'm setting standards.
It's a dynasty.
Uh-huh.
How much credit do I get for Josh being nominated for the award I was nominated for last year?
None.
Okay, just seeing where the double standard lives.
Oh, no double standard. I think we all. Will admit. I mean, I'm his manager now. It's only been a short time, but Will and I, terrible twosome.
Well, there is a company
Dynamic
award for
duo.
dynamic duo.
Dynamic duo.
Should we nominate you two?
Good. I think you and Josh and Strouf.
I'd be
you
curious.
Guys would
I'd be
a good
curious
one.
from the MIA. Maybe we can outsource our work here. I'd be curious from the MIA, who listens to a lot of our ESPN Wisconsin programming. Who's the best dynamic duo? And it doesn't have to necessarily be a pair like Wilde and
I was gonna
Tausch.
say, it feels like I got a nomination.
Yeah,
Jesse and not doing his own work.
yeah. That's Jesse and delegation. That'd be terrible good.
Jesse and Ben Brust.
Yeah, both whitey tighty guys. Not literally.
I think you guys would be a good one.
Who?
You and Josh.
We're good at drinking beers together.
Yeah.
We're good at hosting this show together.
As I say, we put on some decent programs. We just don't do them frequently enough in terms of outside of just this program. And,
sure.
And I feel like being co-hosts together sort of precludes you from that award. Like, wouldn't then just every successful radio show have the two hosts?
True. All right, we're a little inside baseball. Let's get back to the Packers. Josh, you just wanted credit for Will's rise. So you're on a
10%, by the way.
but you're on a mentorship call, and it's not with us.
No.
So you have other mentors?
I do.
Yeah.
I'm a hot commodity. Everyone wants a piece of me.
They said they're attaching, hitching the ride.
Like, remember when I did that for you, Will?
So-
What is it called? Skitching?
I'm not familiar with that concept.
Sure.
So you're speaking to the entire company about mentorship?
Yeah, about how I've been mentored.
Okay. Can you give us an example of one of the questions?
Yeah,
Because you have to leave the program in like 5 minutes to do this.
it's what advice would you give to a teammate earlier in their career about finding someone who's a few steps ahead? That's one of the questions.
Well, how would you answer that?
I say it's important to find people that were in your position at one point because they know and they can empathize with you.
Right here.
Both of you guys.
Right here. Okay, very good. You haven't been on camera this whole time. I'm sorry.
It's okay. You're just doing a disservice to the MIA.
Yeah. We're so inside now.
Yeah, Jesus. Strouf said, let's not get inside and then ask the most inside
Yes.
question of all time.
I'm sorry. I'm distracted. I shouldn't have produced this show. This was a mistake by me. Hand up. Hand up. This
See,
is-
Josh, he just doesn't get the work that goes on
No,
back there.
well, I do it 3 hours a day. But yeah, no, definitely don't.
some say.
Am I a Steno hater, Josh?
Yes.
Am I rightfully a Steno
No.
hater?
Yes. No, you are not.
Okay, go
Because
on.
you can't define what he actually does.
Well, neither can you.
Right.
But that's your defense, is that you can't define what he does?
Right.
That's a weak defense.
I
understand
haven't-
that.
But your argument for it, therefore, is also weak as well.
I'm not disagreeing.
so yeah, I'm standing on. I have to trust the guy that they gave the fat extension to, and that's just where I am. I've accepted the terms of Matt LaFleur. I didn't want Matt LaFleur to get the extension, so that's where my breakdown starts. What he does after that, what do I give a rip about? I can't change it. I wish he wasn't there. I wish it was someone else filling that seat and filling jobs.
So you agree with me?
Sure.
The overall concept, a change is necessary.
Well, yeah, but I also don't know how much that offensive coordinator makes an impact on the Packers day to day, week by week, and overall offensive stats at the end of the day. So that to me is hard to decipher. I don't know. Could somebody come in there and be a great hire and change the offense and improve things and give some fresh new ideas? Sure. Could that person also get hired and do bleep all? Yes.
Okay.
And then you would, at the end of the year, be like, what does this guy do anyways? The offense was no better than it was the year before. We got a new guy in.
So effectively what you're saying is Matt LaFleur needs to fall on the sword one way or another for the offense's inefficiencies
Yes.
or shortcomings.
As the play caller, as the head coach, buck stops with him. starts and stops, frankly.
But that also includes the staff.
It does include his staff. But once you get it, if I were to sign Will to a 5-year, $7 million deal, but then got mad at Will for not hiring somebody I wanted behind him, that's kind of like, well, what? You told me. You gave me the reins. When you entrust somebody with the future of your franchise, you're giving them the options.
Where's the MIA at on Stenavich? Am I just unrightfully angry about him? Because I like LaFleur, and I like the offense, but we need more. And I think him as a play caller is fine, but, like, can we get somebody in there that knows what the hell they're doing rather than just is a good offensive line coach that got promoted internally?
I don't have a lot of feedback on Adam Stenavich. We got different conversations going on here. Jesse and Tausch are a great dynamic duo. Will Summers is a great guy, even though he's a Bears fan. Find the guy who smells bad, clearly works super hard.
What does that mean?
Will, a quarter zip? Dress up, son.
Yeah, you do have
This
a
is
company
dressing up for me.
Yeah. Also,
I was going to wear my Blackhawk sweatshirt, and I was like, I probably shouldn't.
yeah, no.
All right, before we get into Giannis Gate, Will, you've got like 4 minutes. So I'm
Giannis
actually
Gate.
Giannis Saga, Giannis Gate,
Yeah. Gate would imply
Watch?
there's some sort of
scandal.
yeah.
That's wow. It's not scandalous, I guess, but it is a saga, and it is depressing. It does make me sad. So I think Giannis Gate applies.
No.
All right, well, I'm going to give you your own what we missed, what we learned before we let you go do your big boss stuff. You worked too hard. You succeeded too much. So, the floor is yours. Any words?
Upheaval, which I did not know is spelled with a U. I thought it was like Appealville.
Upheaval? It's UP.
You think it's... I was trying to figure out where the U was. He meant at the end.
The
at
up
the up
part is very important to the rest of the word.
I'm realizing that now. It means a violent or sudden change or disruption to something. There will be an upheaval in Milwaukee if Giannis is not on the Bucks next season.
Sure.
You are so good at using the word like technically correct if you squint, but using it in that sentence, it doesn't actually work. Like that's not the proper way to use the word. But if you read between the lines and apply the definition, then yeah, I guess you're right.
I guess you're kind of right.
That's what makes me great.
Okay, any other words?
That was the only one. It put me through a loop that it was spelled that way.
Appeal. You thought it was appealable?
I initially spelled it Appeval. And when I looked it up, I got a health app evaluation website. So that's not right.
Can we just bring up the fact that I got pulled into an argument that Will started and abandoned earlier today with none other than the legendary Steve the Homer True.
Okay.
Who cussed at me multiple times.
Whoa.
Because Will told Homer that he views them as friends.
Yeah.
Despite the 48-year age gap.
Uh-huh.
He said I could be his
Age
friend.
gap relationships are in. Ask Bill Belichick.
Yeah.
That's what I said. That's what I thought he was asking me about. And then I realized the ages weren't right. So I said, what are you referring to? And he said, well, Will claims we're friends. We're not bleeping friends. And I said, I consider you and me friends, Homer. Like if you decided, you were going to quit or retire, I would call you and check in on you because I like you. I care about you. He goes, you can care about me all you want, but we can't be friends. So can a 71-year-old and a 23-year-old be friends?
He told me in confidence later, he said, we can be friends if you want.
He didn't do that.
Yes, he did. I swear. No more than 20 minutes ago.
I certainly think it's possible. I don't think with that sort of, like, you're young enough to be his grandson. Technically, we all are.
Yeah.
Based on what we know about anatomy and how that stuff works.
All right. We didn't need that second part, but that is
and the
correct.
miracle of childbirth. But it almost, to me, it can't be the same friendship like we would have with amongst one another. Because when somebody is that much older, it's more of a mentorship, like your call or to me, like true friendship, I don't know if that's really happening with nearly 50 years of difference in age. Well, you guys do have 50, right? No.
48.
48.
Yeah. He said he could be my mentor too.
Yeah. Like that just to me.
Oh, wait, hold on. Can you shout Homer out on this company call?
No.
I don't think I
It
can.
seems unnecessary.
Why?
It's
He's your mentor.
It's not the time or the place.
It's a mentorship call. It's very much the time and the place.
People in the YouTube chat still think I'm leaving. I'm not leaving.
Dr. Denver Dan, could you say that a great do is Kyle because he takes both sides of an argument every time?
All right, I got to go. You guys move on to Giannis, Sean Mannion, something productive.
I don't know. It's Friday. We might talk about the Royal Rumble.
Sorry, Josh.
I got to tell you, I got nothing.
You don't watch wrestling at all?
Not enough to know what's happening. I've watched the Royal Rumble. That's about it.
My favorite event. It's tomorrow.
Yeah, understood.
See you, Will. What about the Grammys? You watching the Grammys on Sunday?
Will I? No. Will my house have it on, and will I hear about it? Yes.
Will you bet on it?
No.
You know our friends at Potawatomi Sports take action on the Grammys.
I sure do know that.
Yeah.
Spoken to him about it explicitly. Did you see on your little sheet I gave you my one opinion?
My little sheet.
There was on the desk we share, there was a Grammys Awards like slip that somebody had started to fill out.
Oh, that was mine, yeah.
Yeah, I added my input on there. Best rock single and best rock album I gave both to Turnstile. I called it the Joshy guest pick.
I'm fine with that but you got to realize the rock at the Grammys is not actually rock ever. They do a horrible job.
Yeah, I looked at the list. It just wasn't much there.
We'll get to Giannis in just a moment, but I do want to put a bow on this Sean Mannion and Adam Stenavich conversation because I am fascinated by the rise. Like, does Steno get credit for Sean Mannion's rise?
No.
Matt LaFleur does.
Yeah. Yeah, because Matt LaFleur
sort of understand how the NFL works.
Matt LaFleur sort of handpicked him.
Right, and I do remember that.
Yeah.
I actually had a source on that. Did I tell you about this?
No.
I thought he was signing as a backup quarterback. So thankfully I didn't report anything. But I got a tip that Sean Mannion was in Green Bay visiting with the Packers, and I thought, oh, they're going to sign a third quarterback, because he was on the Vikings the year prior. And then 2 days later, it was announced he was joining as whatever his title was 2 years ago when Tom Clements was still there.
Yeah.
And I went, oh.
Like assistant QB coach or whatever.
Yeah, whatever it was. But impressive rise for him. I'm curious to see how he does with obviously a very good offense in Philadelphia.
Yeah, I heard him talking about it on Sportsman this morning. You either end up a head coach after your time,
or you get fired.
Or you get fired and leave in shame. So
with your house egged.
Yeah, I'm hoping for the best for Sean Mannion. Who knows? Coin flip. It's certainly a risk for a team with like veterans like that and all the personalities they have there.
Now, the other piece of this is it was Jordan Love's most complete season. It was Jordan Love's most consistent season.
Yeah.
And Sean Mannion does get credit for that. Obviously, with the rise of Malik Willis, Sean Mannion also gets credit for that. And he was mentored by Tom Clements, who we know, obviously, he touched Favre, he touched Rodgers, he touched Love. He touched all three of them during his long tenure in Green Bay, both off and on. This is an important hire for Matt LaFleur, yes? I mean, we've seen the one big hire he had to make this offseason was obviously defensive coordinator in Jonathan Gannon. Time will tell on that one. I like the hire. I like the idea of the hire, kind of a schemeless defensive former head coach, a guy who has coached in a Super Bowl as a defensive coordinator. I think he checked a lot of the ideal boxes for what he brought in on that one. Now, this is another big hire for him. This is completely Matt LaFleur. And maybe this will be the Kickstarter to see if we see any other changes on the offensive part of the staff. Could it be Luke Butkus, the offensive line coach, gets fired, which was a big rumor when the season ended, that he would be without a job? Could there be some other changes on the offensive staff and this be the Kickstarter? We will see. But I view this as a very big hire after Jordan Love's most consistent season, Joshy, on whoever Matt LaFleur brings in as Sean Mannion's replacement.
I don't know. I think Matt LaFleur is more key to that. I think the fact that they were comfortable hiring a guy who was just a backup and then had very little coaching experience in that position and is almost a peer with Jordan kind of tells you that at this level with the amount of experience, not that it's all starting experience, but NFL experience that Jordan Love has, you kind of are what you are and you're working within the margins. I think the reason we know who Tom Clements is because he was largely there for Aaron Rodgers' rise into what he is. But I don't think if you were to actually break it down, how integral he actually was, especially with the way players now work in the offseason where we know who Jordan Love's like QB coach is and who he works on stuff with because that's such a big part of the NFL cycle that somebody they spend the offseason with a guy specifically for that. And I think that's where like any real change happens. I don't think it's a whole lot of happening within the four walls of the room anymore. I think it's probably putting them in the best position to succeed and probably helping them with the things they're working on. But I don't know how much Sean Mannion was like. It's not like he was changing Jordan Love's throwing motion.
Right. I'm not claiming that necessarily. And there's a natural level of maturation that you assume takes place when a quarterback is entering the third year as the starter and at the helm of the offense.
I think it's probably their biggest job is communicating and taking what Matt LaFleur is telling them even deeper and further.
Sure.
And making sure that the communication between the coach and the quarterback is on point and sort of impressing what Matt LaFleur wants and stressing those things.
Luke Getsy?
I mean, it's whatever.
I'm not asking if you like it or not. I'm asking.
It's probably, yeah, probably.
So Nathaniel Hackett going to Miami, if there was going to be a change at OC, is probably a very good thing. What's your guess on the OC change? I think a week ago you still thought it would happen.
Yeah, I'm not ruling it out because Matt LaFleur has done later. But if it's not over the weekend, which the Packers love for whatever reason to break news over the weekend, that's kind of their style. So probably, but if it doesn't happen between, let's say, 5 p.m. tonight and 6 p.m. Sunday, it's probably not going to happen. That's probably the final window before it starts to not make sense to move on because we are now, what is it? That would be 3 weeks, 3 weeks removed from the Packers' last game.
Yeah, but 4 weeks removed from the Vikings, they fired their GM. So the NFL makes no damn sense, is what I'm learning.
Yeah.
There's no perfect timeline for any of these things. Now, obviously, the offseason gives you a little bit of time to think things through and figure things out. But the longer this drags on, I think the more and more it points to Adam Stenavich will be back as the offensive coordinator. And the other part that people have all of a sudden calmed down on, I think, but now that I say this, we'll see what the MIA says. But the longer this drags on, the more likely it is Rich Bisaccia is back as the special teams coordinator. And if that's not already a foregone conclusion, the longer and longer we go, it certainly will be. And I don't know, man. Like I think maybe I raised my expectations too high for what this offseason would bring. Right? I said on Sunday Karma the day after the Packers season ended. I said I would understand if a big time change is made, but I don't expect that. I'm fine with Matt LaFleur back, but there needs to be a lot of changes around him then. I think Matt LaFleur is a successful head coach and can eventually win a Super Bowl. I still think that way. But this was the offseason that I thought multiple coordinator changes were needed. And not just because one guy got a head coaching job, right? I wanted to see some choices made in that building that proved Matt LaFleur, like all of us as fans think, this hasn't been good enough. We need to kickstart this thing to the next level. And that likely begins with a new offensive coordinator and special teams coordinator, specifically that latter one, because they've been so damn bad under his tenure or during his tenure. But I think I just got my expectations too high and expected change, and I forgot who Matt LaFleur really is, and that's somebody that's far too loyal.
Yeah, I haven't committed myself to being excited or disappointed either way, because I had a feeling Matt LaFleur is going to still be Matt LaFleur. I thought the only change that would happen would be either some half measure of an extension, which seemed unlikely to me, or him getting fired. He doesn't like to move on from people. You can argue there was 2 years of Joe Barry where it made sense to move on from him. He did not.
Yeah.
He didn't want to fire the special teams coach and tried to find him a lesser job within the org. Maurice Drayton.
Yeah.
Like and it happened like 2 weeks after the season when they had one of the worst special teams in all the NFL. Actually, they might have been the worst. So all that put together, unless his hand is forced, I don't think he's going to make those moves because there's nobody in the room telling him to do it. And we all love to talk about the Packers not having an owner and not having things be changed on the whims of a billionaire who is or is not involved with football. But if you wanted change, the real only reason that would happen is an owner forcing it or an ad policy forcing it. And he, for the most part, seems to be keeping his hands out of decision-making on the football side.
Yeah. I'm with you. MIA reacting heavily on YouTube at ESPN Milwaukee. Let's roll through some of these comments. Corralling My Chaos, great username, by the way. Corralling My Chaos says Matt LaFleur is a bad coach enabler.
Think so?
Yeah, I think that's a fair critique.
I think also if you believe that to be true, he's also bad at hiring coaches and bad at empowering them. Those seem to go hand in hand.
Yeah, there's a few examples where that wasn't the case, right? I mean, obviously, Nathaniel Hackett was a good hire at the time.
See, to me, for them to be a good hire, they have to have success.
After the fact?
Yes.
Oh, I don't know about that.
Because every year bad decisions get made by teams across the league.
But that's like saying, who just got fired from Arizona? Jonathan Gannon, duh.
That's the one.
He was good with the Philly defense the year he was there.
Right, and I would argue you could make a case that he wasn't actually as good as the number showed.
Right.
And you didn't get a good enough. You got interviewed. Somebody came in, smashed the interview.
Hold on.
I have a friend. This is personal experience. I have a friend.
I like personal experience.
One of the worst employees you'd ever meet, I would never suggest him for a job here. If he goes to an interview and he gets to that interview, he's getting the job. Some people interview well, and some people knock your socks off. But those people, I would say, aren't good at determining, is this person being honest? Is this person meeting the requirements? Or is this person just saying the things they've correctly deemed I want to hear?
Does your friend know you feel this way about him?
Yes, I've said it to him.
I'm confused by this friendship. Have I met this individual?
No.
Okay.
This is a person now at this rate in my life I see like once or twice a year, maybe.
Okay.
But more of a high school friend.
What makes him a horrible or her a horrible worker?
Doesn't like to go to work. Attendance is an issue.
Well, that adds up. That okay, I get it.
Yeah,
now. I get it. Okay. But I guess, wait, what was the analogy? The
analogy was sometimes you hire somebody that isn't deserving of the job or isn't actually as good as you believe, but they came in, sold you a bunch of nonsense in the interview process.
So then let me ask you this. Fair or unfair, Aaron Glenn was a good defensive coordinator.
I wasn't a fan of that hire. I didn't think he was particularly special.
You weren't a fan of the Jets hiring him as a head coach or the Lions hiring him as a DC?
As a DC, he's fine. I think he's probably fine there. I don't think the Lions defense ever was special enough, and you were ever like, wow, these guys are scheming.
Well, I just want to bring it up because we have two very good examples the last couple of years, right?
Yep.
It's the Eagles in 2022 to 2023 when they lose in the first round of the playoffs after a double coordinator change, and then obviously when the Lions are the number one seed in the NFC last year, miss the playoffs this year after a double coordinator change.
And we know what that was. That's Ben Johnson.
Ben Johnson, of course. Right. More so than Aaron Glenn. I totally agree.
Yeah.
But
I don't think I would say that was a bad hire, and it was a bad hire at the time.
Dan Campbell, that is?
What? No, the hiring of Aaron Glenn from DC to head coach was at the time bad process because they saw, well, this guy knows what it's like to win. And then you watch the way everything's happened in New York, and it's clearly not. It's clearly, I mean, he's not going to make it through the 2026 season.
Our buddy Dr. Denver Dan, says he's made a career just like your friend, despite having his doctorate degree. Yeah. I'm sure it wasn't the years and years of school you went to, Doc.
Is he actually a doctor? Do we have confirmation on that?
He mentioned earlier about getting his doctorate. He said he didn't have a nickname until he got his doctorate.
Yeah, my friend didn't come close to even an associate degree. So if you're able to get a doctorate, you're miles ahead.
Did you ever go to college?
Yeah, I did.
Do you have a degree?
No. Got a job, moved on. Said, what do I need it for? Look at me now.
You're in a lot less student debt than I am, I would imagine.
A lot less.
Where'd you go to college?
UW-Waukesha.
Okay.
And as I was about to transfer, I ran out of funding. And I didn't have the financial wherewithal to do it, and I wasn't willing to go deeply into debt.
And it worked out all right.
Yeah, here we are.
Love it. All right, let's move to Giannis because this is. Are you tired yet? I told you the other day I'm having Giannis fatigue. Are you with me?
No, and maybe the reason I don't have it is because I've accepted now for a while that Giannis wasn't going to be a Buck in 2026. If it happens before the trade deadline, if it happens in the offseason, or if it happens shortly after the season begins, I don't think means much to me. I think the writing has been on the wall for the larger part of the past 6 months.
Yeah.
And I'm just interested now in the machinations of what's happening, and will it happen before the trade deadline if somebody does give a big enough trade? I'm also fascinated by the immaculate trade scenario where Giannis, via Chris Haynes, is saying he's said nothing, he's never requested a trade, and he's not willing to. But also, here are some places he would like to go, and here are some things he would like for the teams he could possibly be traded to.
But I would never.
Right. So I don't know how we, cut the bleep, man. We got it. We don't resent you for it. It is what it is. You had a great career here. I'm not going to resent you for what you've done as a Milwaukee Buck or the way you asked out. Frankly, it doesn't really matter to me all that much. I think some people will, and the problem that we're facing, and I've seen it a little bit, is people are starting to turn on him because of all the stuff happening around it. Obviously, people are going to hate Shams, and they're going to hate Windy because they're the people reporting the stuff. But some people are turning on him. Like, hey, just say it, dude. Let's just get this over with. Stop making it a thing.
It's not even that because I'm one of these people that has said this, right? Let's just say the quiet part out loud. Let's just say our feelings. Just feel your feelings, man.
Uh-huh.
But I wouldn't view that, at least in my perspective, and maybe others feel differently. I'm not turning on Giannis. I just want clarity, right? I just want clarity to this exhausting situation.
And I think if you're to boil it down to what people are getting mad at Giannis is, they also just want clarity. Some people are the type of people, you leave my city, you're my enemy. And there's nothing we can work with that. I don't subscribe to that.
Can't feel that way about Giannis, especially.
No. I do think Giannis isn't as flawless as of a character as many of us have built him up to be, but I do think the great things he's done for Milwaukee, the championship he brought here, all of that outweighs even some of the things I would say that aren't necessarily all positive about someone like Giannis.
Sure.
He's human. He's not going to do everything right. He's not going to say all the right things at all the right times. But he's done enough and been enough of a story here. The reason there's a new arena, there's a reason there's an entertainment district around it.
The Bucks are even in Milwaukee,
right? All that stuff matters to me.
Yes, and I fully agree with you as somebody that calls this place home. But I guess I keep using the word fatigue. I am intrigued by the optics of the situation.
Yeah.
Right? Nobody really knows what's happening. Has he actually requested a trade, or is he just ready for a new home, which you found very comedic the other day when that news came out? I am a little bit intrigued by the optics. And then, I'm also super intrigued by, when does it happen? Because it seems like we haven't signed the papers for divorce, but the paperwork is certainly, sitting on the kitchen counter.
Mm-hmm.
It just hasn't been signed yet. Now, I think the right move, and I saw Brian Windhorst wrote about this today on ESPN.com, is the right move for the Bucks is to drag this thing out as long as possible. Can you win the heart back over, right? Don't sign the divorce papers if you think there's still a chance at saving the marriage. And that is, can John Horst, I don't want to say pull a rabbit out of his hat because it's only equaled one title, but he's been able to manufacture some sort of trade or move or free agent signing that somehow gives Bucks fans and Giannis alike more hope, more faith, more. There is a light at the end of this crappy tunnel we've been in the last few years. The Damian Lillard trade is, of course, the best and worst example of it. That trade, if you're John Horst, you pulled the trigger on that thing 10 times out of 10, but it failed. It failed miserably. In fact, man, you got 2 years out of him, and now you're paying him for the next 5 years, $22 million a pop. It failed. There's no other word to use it. But it is the right move when you're trying to win more championships and maintain the prime of one of the best players we've ever seen and the best player you've ever seen on the Milwaukee Bucks. So if you can buy yourself time, if you can get through Thursday's deadline, that gives you the opportunity of the offseason. You finally have your own draft pick. What can you flip that into? Can you do something to make Giannis go, okay, I actually think we can win here in the near future, and sign that Supermax come October 1st? I still think that's on the table. I think it's unlikely. I think the more likely option is he's traded. But I think that is still an opportunity. And if I'm John Horst, I'm going down with the ship.
I also think you have to weigh, though, flipping any sort of asset for a win-now player for Giannis to not agree to an extension and force his way out still would be the certain end of Horst. I think if it's determined, like, hey, I don't think, and I've seen a few people be anti-Horst. I don't really know on what basis. But he's done literally everything you could ever imagine to keep Giannis here. Some of it even unprecedented with the wave and stretch from Damian Lillard. Like that, we haven't seen stuff like that before. So I don't really blame him for much of this. I think Giannis, as much as John Horst, is also responsible for where the Bucks are now, be it some of the decisions he was trying to make or influence, be it hiring Adrian Griffin and then firing him, and then he also was made a part of all of these decisions. So it's not like his hands are totally clean of that. And I think John Horst did what his bosses wanted him to do, and that was try and keep Giannis happy at every single turn.
The hard part for me, and I see people say I'm living in a dream world if I think they can win the Hart back over. I think it's a possibility. I don't think it is the.
I think if the Bucks, you have to keep that hope for as long as you possibly can.
Right, you keep the dream alive.
I think it's pie in the sky. I don't think it makes sense for the Bucks to really, like, what are they going to do with that lottery pick other than draft somebody and hope they're really good
right away?
Oh yeah, yeah, and it's going to be worse than the pick they have the swap of anyways.
You don't see Cooper Flagg versus Con Knippel. Did you see those stats last night?
Yeah,
when those two faced off? Oh my goodness, what a game that was! But you don't get that every year.
No,
right?
No.
Malcolm Brogdon won Rookie of the Year one year.
President.
Right? Like it's unheard of when you have rookies that are as good as we've seen this year. Now, there's a couple names in next year's draft that you go, that could be interesting year one right away. But I mean,
I don't think there's anybody you could draft that would keep him there. So you're talking about using that asset and probably other assets to acquire a different player to make Giannis believe they can win it there. But that is all we're doing there is talking about the players. I don't know what he feels about the head coach. I don't know what he feels about front office management.
Okay, so that's what I was going to get to next. Is I think we can firmly agree on two things, and the third one I struggle with, but I firmly agree with two things. And Ben Bruss said this yesterday. He said, I don't trust Jimmy Haslam in the ownership room. And I know you and I are going to easily agree on that. I don't trust Doc Rivers as the head coach.
Yeah. No, I saw Ben say that, and I think he's right on with that.
Now, he also said, I don't trust John Horst. And that's the one where I get a little tied up.
I have a hard time determining exactly what John Horst
can do
or has done that has been an obvious misstep that all of us wouldn't have done or agreed with at the time. There wasn't a soul saying the Dame move was bad.
No, and I think even in retrospect, we all have enough, we all have enough mental wherewithal to say, hey, that was the right move. You do that 10 times out of 10.
And if your argument is John Horst let Giannis make too many decisions and get too involved in it, John Horst is probably getting that from above.
Yeah.
We listen to, and it doesn't take a genius. I think everyone in the chat and all of us in the room would be like, yeah, if Giannis is telling us what to do, we're going to do it. Because Giannis in Milwaukee is $1 billion industry.
Yep.
And it is what it is to me. I would understand if they moved on from John Horst. I have no way to me, he's done everything possible. He's looked under every rock. And you can certainly point to certain things or previous bad draft picks, even though most of them aren't even in the first round or even in like the first 20 picks. So what do they even matter?
Yeah, I guess agreed with all that. I struggle with the knocks on John Horst. I really do, because I think he's done everything.
I think it just feels good to knock somebody.
Which is why I struggle with agreeing that I don't trust John Horst. Right? I think he's earned the benefit of the doubt. Now,
I would reserve my opinion on John Horst to people like Gabe Neitzel or Eric Name, or that's who I would.
Jim Orzowski.
Yeah,
Jim Orzowski.
I would farm it out to them, because to what I've seen has been like, yeah, I understand why every move was made the way it was. Like we all think Kyle Kuzma ain't any good, but he at least is on the floor.
Yeah.
Chris Middleton wasn't.
Yeah. So I totally get the anger at the Haslam and the ownership. I totally get the anger at Doc Rivers. I fully agree with everybody that is dumbfounded by the idea that he still has a job. But if this thing's turning into a tank this year, well, he might as well stay employed.
Yeah,
it doesn't pay to pay him not the coach. You know,
I don't even. Can you call it a tank if Giannis is legitimately injured and out, and the team is losing to the Wizards? Maybe they're just that bad.
But they've lost to the Wizards with Giannis too. The Wizards have 12 wins.
2 of them against the Bucks.
3. 25% of Washington's wins this season have come against the Milwaukee Bucks. That's bonkers, dude.
Yeah, I mean, they're no good.
It's bonkers.
Yeah. And that also solidifies my fact that Giannis wants out because he's looking around going, dude, look at this. Look how much we stink.
Yeah, the unfortunate part is the Kyle Kuzma thing hasn't worked out. The unfortunate part is that the Kevin Porter Jr. thing hasn't worked out. It's unfortunate that Ryan Rollins isn't the player.
How many draft picks has John Horst even made in his Bucks tenure?
When did he take over? I can give you a rough estimate at the top.
I'm looking. I'm just looking it up right now.
Because 2016 was the last time they had a lottery pick. That was Thon Maker, their last lottery pick, by the way. For all the people that want to knock his drafting, yeah, it's a crapshoot at the end of the.
Select 2017 DJ Wilson in the first round. That was 17th overall pick.
So he's probably had about 10 to 12 picks.
Not a high value pick.
He hasn't had a lottery pick then. 2016 was their last lottery pick.
Yeah,
he has not had a lottery pick since taking over.
Now I'm in the signed hire. Now I got to find another draft pick. Like, there's so many trades happening here that like their picks were to acquire actual players that had some standing because
they drafted Kevin Porter Jr. And he was flipped, and then he eventually came back as a Buck. But like he turned Marjon Beauchamp into Kevin Porter Jr. So that's not a bad thing. He drafted Dante DiVincenzo, tried to use that to acquire assets, right? Like he's done things from draft picks where you go, okay, I guess I can see why you did that. The Marjon Beauchamp into Kevin Porter Jr. thing is probably his best one, but all in all, relatively disappointing. I want you to listen to this, Joshy, and just tell me how you feel. Peter Feigin, who's now no longer the president of the Milwaukee Bucks, had his formal goodbye party yesterday morning over at
Key to the City.
Yeah, I saw that. He deserved it.
I think I need a key to the city.
We'll get you there someday. Peter Feigin jumped on Wisconsin's Midday News with Jessica Ty and Greg Matzik yesterday on WTMJ, our sister station just up the hallway. And, I'll just let you listen to the back and forth with him and Greg Matzik.
Do you think Giannis will finish his playing career in Milwaukee, Peter?
Yeah, I don't know. I think, listen, I certainly wish, this has been, back to, what it means personally to me. Like, I only want greatness, for this team and the city, and I've become so attached. And I think certainly Giannis is such a huge component to kind of the greatness of this team and the city. So personally, I'd always love to see Giannis as a Buck.
Well, wouldn't we all?
Yeah. Yeah,
that's a little bit of a tune change from the former Bucks president who just a couple of months ago was saying all the Shams Charania reports were crap, which, look, maybe the discussions weren't as kicked up as they have been the last week. But
did you happen to hear his appearance on Sirius XM NBA?
I did not, but I see you have the audio.
It is in there. Yeah, let's listen to that.
The statute of limitations on the Giannis trade. I get it. I get the trade deadline coming up next week. But, I mean, this has been the year which I could have never fathomed that every day of NBA news has been whether Giannis is going to get traded or not. Which is kind of, I think, organizationally has been tough for us and kind of like a challenge. And I think in today's NBA, if the average fan isn't thinking that 30 teams aren't talking about the 5 or 10, generational superstars and where they could possibly move and what could happen, like they've got to be out of their mind, to get it. And I think now a little bit, more serious, listen, we're focused on, which we are not performing well. Like this is a beyond disappointing season to date. I think the focus is how do we improve right away? And then how do we really think about the future? And that.
It sounded like to me that was a person resigned to Giannis no longer being in Milwaukee. That was the impression I got the first time I listened. When I listened to it again, it sort of sounded like a resignation.
It sounds close to it, yeah. I'll give you that.
This is going a way that we've tried to prevent it from, and it doesn't seem like we've been successful in it. And it's been hard for us to sort of sort through and wade the waters, per se.
Yeah, I feel bad for the organization because this has to take a toll on you at some point, and now it's real. I think you and I have been in agreement. It's the most real it's ever been for sure the last week. But we'll see. We will see. All right, let's get to what we missed, what we learned ahead of the weekend. Here on Mr. Irrelevant. Hopefully we do not miss a Giannis trade over the weekend, and hopefully there's some Packers.
I've got what we missed, what we learned.
Yeah, go ahead. I got something for you as well, but you go first.
This would be much better if we had both Will and Hunter here, but I declared early this morning that you and I need a desk divorce. We share a desk upstairs. We've acquired so many teammates that well, let's be honest. At this point, we're one of the few who share a desk anymore around the office. Yeah. There's less than a handful of people who do that. And you have a history of leaving things there. Some of them are left for months on end.
Okay, months is strong.
Months.
Okay, you want to talk about your wet naps, man?
The wet naps to like clean?
Yeah.
Yeah, those are there for a reason.
Yeah, those have been there for literal months.
Yeah.
I don't leave anything for months.
You do your picture, your Ben Brust picture that he signed and gave to you.
Yeah, that's for the desk.
That's not for the desk.
Well, get me an office then so I can hang it.
I had acquired, after losing, now I've done this multiple times. I bring a bunch of pens over to the desk. I set them on the desk. And then they slowly make their way away from the desk. Now, I never do that because I have a pen in my backpack that I carry with me everywhere. But I arrived at work today to find in the center of the desk a seemingly unused pen with a broken off cap.
Yeah, that's a twitch I have.
Yeah. And those are not there to just be broken.
Well, I used the pen.
I can or cannot confirm that, but it also then made me think of there's to your right.
Yeah.
There's a cup filled with 3 pens.
There's only 2 in there, but yes.
Okay, 2. Can you show the camera the pens and the state they're found in?
Okay, so the back end thing is not me. This isn't me. I don't do this. I don't chew on pens.
But you would understand how after seeing a mangled pen on the desk.
So hold on, it's not a mangled pen.
After I supplied it. After I supplied it. There was 2 pieces there.
Yeah, so I don't have a pen cap back here for whatever reason. But if you put it's a pen like this, it's just a cap with like the little thing that you can clip to, I assume, a belt or something.
It's to put in your pocket, attached to a piece of paper.
So I flick those things off when I open pens.
Don't do that. How about that?
Fair. Now, the chew on pens thing isn't me. I don't chew on pens. You'll notice every pen at our desk is not chewed on.
I was heartened to see I did not see teeth marks. Ben Brust is a habitual pen chewer.
So you think that's what happened here?
There's pen chews in here that you can see all of them have been chewed on.
Yeah, that's not me.
But I was making connections, and I didn't formally accuse you of being the pen chewer, but as somebody who has been annoyed by when I pick up a pen and it's gotten it's in a state of disrepair.
So I guess if we're gonna air out all our dirty laundry about sharing a desk, you are aware there's a coat closet here, yes?
Yeah, I just don't want to use it.
Yeah, you put your coat on the chair that I use throughout the day.
Yeah, I'm marking my territory. Get out of here.
Well, no.
Hoping you'll find a new desk.
So the desk says producers.
Yeah, it's mine.
I'm also a producer.
I've claimed it. That's how everyone else's desk worked here, and I just wasn't here when desk claiming happened. I really got screwed.
I was just told that's the desk I had to use.
Yeah, I'm working behind the scenes to make that not happen.
Well, you are an executive now, so you probably could request a desk.
I could.
Are you going to?
I am.
When?
ASAP.
Okay. Well,
I also, on top of that, I was once erroneously accused of stealing something from said desk by you. Your cheesehead.
I thought you were doing something to mess with me.
Yeah, and I said, which is accurate, and still to this day, I'm not a pranks guy.
You're right.
I've never been a pranks guy, so I was offended of somebody who, instead of hiding your stuff, which I think I would have the right to do at this point because you leave stuff there quite often. Some stuff stays there for days, weeks.
Don't say months.
Months.
Don't say months.
I think I would have the right to.
All right, Mr. Wet.
I've chosen not to.
All right, fair enough. Okay.
There's glasses there. There's cups there. Sometimes
there's no glasses.
Sometimes
You're making things up.
You'll leave a coffee cup there for 4 days.
No, that's not me.
That is you.
We're not the only two people that use that desk, by the way.
I know, but I know your coffee cups.
Oh, you mean a mug?
Yes.
Yeah. Sometimes my girlfriend yells at me. Sometimes I do forget to put it back in my backpack because I've been better at that though. Give me credit. Credit where credit's due.
Since the turn of the new year, I can't say I've noticed anything sitting for too long.
What's this? I leave it down here now, so when I clean up at 5 o'clock, I don't forget it. I've changed my ways, so I don't forget it.
Gotcha. Just leaving it everywhere.
Okay. Well, we're out of time, but I really wanted to do this, so I'm gonna throw 10 names at you real quick that are in the WWE Royal Rumble tomorrow. I want you to tell me if you know any of them. Okay.
All
right, here we go. Gunther.
No.
Dragon Lee.
No.
Solo Sikoa.
No.
Jacob Fatu.
No.
Braun Breaker.
Yes.
Oh, you do know who that is?
Yes.
You know who Logan Paul is?
Yes.
Bronson Reed.
No.
Austin Theory.
Yes.
Really?
Uh-huh.
You know more than I was anticipating. Damian Priest?
Not sure.
I'm going to take this as a no then.
Yeah.
You couldn't pick him out of a crowd. And then I would imagine you know the rest of these. Stop me if you don't know any of these. The Miz, Brock Lesnar, Randy Orton, Roman Reigns, Rey Mysterio, Cody Rhodes, Jey Uso?
All of them, yes.
Okay.
The Uso brothers.
Will you watch it?
No. I have watched it with Gabe in the past.
Okay.
But since it starts so early, I have a commitment up until late afternoon.
Care to tell us what the commitment is?
Just going to the golf sim with some people.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, we have it reserved, so paid for it. Don't want to miss it. Not going to skip it for
the Rumble.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
but I've watched our games in the past, and we do a pool. Everybody gets a team, like a person. Y'all put a certain amount of money in. Last person standing.
I got a 10-person pool going.
And
$100 on them.
And every year, I have to say, why does nobody like Roman Reigns? Yet he's always one of the last people in here, and they keep trying to force him down our throat.
Wow. Welcome to the world of WWE, brother.
I know.
Well, if you are a Royal Rumble enjoyer like I am, enjoy it tomorrow. Enjoy the Grammys, and then we will talk some Super Bowl and more Packers and Bucks news coming up next week. Joshy, enjoy the weekend. Make decent decisions. We will talk to you on Monday, beginning at 12:30 Central, ESPN Milwaukee, ESPN Madison on YouTube, and, of course, available wherever you get your podcasts, whether that's Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or the ESPN Wisconsin app. We will talk to you